Hi students, it's Mr. Henrik. In this video, I will explain a special lesson regarding trigonometric ratios of special acute angles and obtuse angles. Through this lesson, we may find how to determine the values of special acute angles and obtuse angles in trigonometry. I will begin with this table. This is a table for sin x. Later we will determine which angle we could find the trigonometric values of sin x. I will begin with these acute angles. On my previous video, I have explained it, how to find the values, the trigonometric values of 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90 degrees. Sine 0 is 0, sine 30 equal half, sine 45 a half, square root 2, sine 60 a half, square root 3, and sine 90 equal 1. Now we are going to determine till 360 degrees, sine 360 degrees. But first of all, you have to learn the pattern of these angles. Look, the pattern 30, 15, 15, 30. Yeah. Later we will determine the next angles according to this pattern. Okay. So pay attention for this lesson. Like this. Yeah. 30, 15, 15, 30. Okay. 30, 15, 15, 30. Afterwards, 30, 15, 15, 30. 30, 15, 15, 30. Yeah. And we may determine the sign value for all of these angles, acute and obtuse angles. Okay. Now this one, as I explained it, that the values of sine 0 equal 0, a half square root 0, and 30 a half square root 1, 45 a half square root 2, 60 a half square root 3, 90 a half square root 4. And it's going to be 0, it's going to be 1, and this one is going to be 1 as well. One is going to be a half, so 0, a half square root 2, a half square root 3, and 1. Okay. So according to this pattern, we may determine the next values of sin x. So sin x for 120 or sin 120 equal a half square root 3, a half square root 2, a half square root 1, and so on. Like this. Okay. Look at the pattern. A half square root 0, a half square root 1, a half square root 2, a half square root 3, a half square root 4, a half square root 3, a half square root 2, a half square root 1, a half square root 0. Of course, this is 0, a half square root 2, a half square root 3, 1, a half square root 3, a half square root 2, a half, and 0. Okay. And for the next values, we may determine like this. This is the complete values of sin x from 0 to 360. Look, after half square root 0, it's going to be minus, okay, or negative a half square root 1, negative a half square root 2, negative a half square root 3, negative a half square root 4, negative a half square root 3, negative a half square root 2, negative a half square root 1, negative a half square root 0. Okay, it's going to be 0, a half, this, if you simplify, 1, a half, this 1, 0, negative a half, and then this is negative 1, this is negative a half, and 0, of course. Okay, I think very simple. Next, for sin x, this for simplification like this. Okay, so sin 0, 0, sin 30 a half, sin 91, sin 150 a half, sin 180 0, and so on until sin 360 equals 0. Okay, so this is the value of sin x after simplification. Next one. Through the same way, the same method, you may determine all values of cosine x and tangent x. Cosine x begin from a half square root 4. Okay, if sine x begin from a half square root 0, cosine x begin from a half square root 4, a half square root 4, a half square root 3, a half square root 2, a half square root 1, a half square root 0, so on till a half square root 4. And regarding the sign, negative and positive, if sine x starting from positive until here, 0, until 0, and negative and 0, the last. But different with cosine. After positive until here, negative, positive again, till 1. Now, how to determine tangent? Supposed to be tangent equal sine over cos. Tangent x equal sine x over cos x. So you may determine the value of tangent x according to this formula. For example, tangent 0 equal sine 0 divided by cosine 0, 0 over 1 equals 0. And tangent 30 equal 30 divided by a half divided by a half over a half square root 3. So it's going to be, it's not half, but this is 1 over square root 3 here, actually. Okay. Yeah. Not a half, but 1 over square root 3. So what's 1? For tangent, this is not 1 over square root 3, but this is 1 because a half square root 2 divided by a half square root 2 equal 1. And for tangent 60, square root half square root 3 divided by a half equal this 1. Yeah, because a half divided by a half equal 1, and it's going to be square root 3. And this is, there is no result here, 1 over 0. And 120, tangent 120, a half square root 3 divided by negative a half equal negative square root 3. And you may determine all values of tangent x according to the values of sin x and cosine x. I think extremely simple how to determine the special values of trigonometric values, the special of special acute and obtuse angles. Okay. Students, if you have any question regarding this lesson, you may ask me. You may send me your email to my email, henrik.academy21@gmail.com. Thank you for joining with me in this lesson.